Yo, Maniacs, welcome. We're at the very tail end of January 2022.
The last day.
The last day, and we are brought to you by Flay Artist on Twitter. Flay made that intro. We wouldn't be here without Flay. So give one of these, roll a Play-Doh snake to Flay. Yeah. Roll that Play-Doh snake. Maniacs, we are Salt Tier Podcast. This is the Pacific Northwest's very own video game podcast. Where your argument is
awesome.
No, it's invalid because that's trademarked.
Ah, yes, it is.
It's
super invalid. We went down memory lane a little bit to old cast members that used to hang out at Cask and Trotter, who are definitely invalid at this point. If you know who I mean.
Nope, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Hi, if you're watching. Hope you're okay. But we want to give a big shout out to Voodoo Ranger IPA. That is employee-owned B Corp certified Indian Pale Ales from the New Belgium Brewing Company. Such fantastic stuff. I don't know what the spring flavor is.
Well, it's still winter.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
You're getting ahead of yourself there, Loud and Brown.
Hey, I saw some sun this week. I went out to Discovery Park and saw the lighthouse. Like I'm living my spring life.
I mean, the plants are coming up. I'm seeing the tulip bulbs sprouting.
Thank God.
But we're also brought to you by, let's see, the Emperor Lotte, the region of Rigatoni, and the Prince of Parmesan. We got Keith and Boogie at the stem. We don't give enough credit to them.
Cheers, mate.
What a fantastic human being. Go Cougs. I hope the results of your sports ball, whatever, was the thing that you wanted with the people. I know 2 people lost, but 2 people won.
Oh, yesterday?
Was it yesterday? Oh,
yeah.
I guess it would be. It was Sunday, yeah.
That shit was bananas. Even if you're not into sports.
Yeah,
even if you're not into sports, it was bananas.
Was it like NFL Blitz bananas?
Sort of.
Well, let's get this train moving. Let's see if I'm brought to you by anything else today. I'm brought to you by alcohol pins. I went to a bartending event today, so
nice.
Other things. Not to, I guess I'm going to name drop it right now. If you do need lapel pins, and hopefully we will get ours, we got a homie that we're trying to get on the damn podcast. He goes by Coastalvania, makes fantastic gaming-related and anime and comic-related lapel pins. Coastalvania.com. Check him out. He's nice guy. I told him next time he comes, he's going to bring just a bag of randoms when he comes from the ferry. He's on one of the islands, and I'll just mail them all to all y'all so we can wear it on the podcast. He's pretty lax about stuff.
He doesn't deliver by catapult? Whatever happened to deliver by catapult?
It would be trebuchet. Thank you.
Trebuchet, yeah.
All right. Well, as you can see down here, I am Loud and Brown at Loud and Brown on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Lucky Bandit. When I hit you with those bars, which I have none.
That's his
and
Wu-Tang
on
name.
Guilty Gear, I am Gross Steph with a PH, which I am doing very poorly at. I went 1 to 9, whatever. I guess we'll do updates now. I went 1 to 9 with my buddy Tommy when we were just doing long sets, and I just got bodied all night long. And I think I had 4 hard seltzers.
That might have been it.
4 whole seltzers, and I did some whiskey.
Were you taking
and that's
shots?
all I played this week. I watched a lot of videos, obviously, of stuff that I dig. I still haven't jumped into my campaigns, but I will, because I will start with Metal Gear Solid. That'll be the next campaign I do.
Ooh,
and that's
excited.
The OG. Are you going back and playing?
Yeah, starting from the original.
Okay.
Oh, yes, and then we'll do a round. We'll stop with our not so often guests. Hey, what color are you wearing there, Dynamic Hunter?
Every shade of turquoise ever.
Oh, I was almost going to say that it was.
knees.
I was almost going to say that it was sage.
Oh, that would have been smarter.
There is some green right there in the back, though, behind you.
Yeah. Well,
that
introduce
bright
yourself.
green or the green that matches me.
Oh, yeah.
Matches me.
Well, go ahead, Shorty. Go for it.
Hey, it's me, Sage Bell. You can find me at Sage Bell on Instagram. Well, that's SageBell_Mile. But on Twitter and Twitch, it's just Sage Bell. I should be coming back streaming. Look, I'm in a new place. My wall's
Congrats.
not pink.
Congrats.
So I will be follow me on Twitch, turn your alerts on, or follow me on Twitter, and I will be announcing a comeback stream. So like a subathon, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
Maybe I'll be playing Unpacking Simulator. Well, also unpacking.
Yep. There you go.
So yeah, come and check it out. I don't know what day that's gonna be yet, but I'm now neighbors with 2 of these people.
Oh.
And over to you.
What's up? This is the Save Rings. ... Good to see and hear all of you. Good to be seen and heard. That's nothing to take for granted these days. I just been chilling, working a lot. I actually worked over the weekend, and I've been playing a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic. That's the game I talked about here on the podcast maybe about, I don't know, 1.5 years ago. I was playing it a lot. Picked it up and started playing it again because a friend of mine who has it on PS5, but we can't play it together because Sony and their cross-play things. But I've been messing around. Yeah, I've been messing around with that a little bit because it is a great game. And if you haven't had a chance, if you do own a PlayStation, it is one of their PSN Plus games for free. That's how my friend started playing it. And
Free.
And he's about 100 hours into it. It's also on Game Pass. It's available on everything. I think it's on Switch. I'm not sure. I don't think it's on Switch, but it's on everything pretty much. Switch, you'd have to look it up. But that's been about it. Just been getting knocked in the head with all these out of nowhere gaming stories. Last week it was Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. This week we'll talk about the one that just kind of dropped today. There was also something really cool with the Steam Deck, which I hope Loud and Brown got a chance to watch the video because I want to pick his brain on that a little bit because I think it'd be pretty cool. But other than that, just a lot of gaming stuff to look forward to. Tomorrow is the 1st of February as of the time of this recording. Next month we've got yes. Yep, and lunar sales on Steam if you've got a Steam account there. A lot of good games on there for dirt cheap that I picked up. But next month we've got, I know I'm missing one. Isn't there a new Monster Hunter game coming out, or did that already come out?
I think it is coming out.
Okay.
I got my squad that likes to call it Monahana.
There you go. That's So that's going to be out. You got Elden Ring, which is going to be out. You got the Steam Deck officially going on sale, and there's something else big that I know a lot of people are looking forward to, but it falls off my radar because I'm not really. But I know it's kind of a bigger game. Anyway, we'll come back to it. But there's another big multi-plat game coming out in February that everyone's looking forward to. So it's a good time to be a gamer. It's a good time to have a gaming podcast. It's a good time to have a guest on that said gaming podcast. Yeah. But he's been on here before, so he's kind of like the third and a half, kind of fourth member. You got Vince Rance. What's up, man? Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm up there somewhere. Vince here. I rant a lot. You can find me at Dark Hain or Vince Rance, depending on whatever social. I don't remember what's what anymore because I kind of have both almost all over the place. And I'm slowly revamping my YouTube channel now, which actually doesn't go by either of those names yet, and I need to get that rebranded. I have one whole new video up there as of like a couple days ago. What video? I was playing around with a Nintendo 64 using a modern upscalers to see what they'd look like on a current TV. And some of the upscalers look like you're running on an emulator. They're pixel perfect. Like they have the nice crispy, sharp, like integer, square, pixel scaling stuff. And it goes through like comparing, I think 12 different upscalers is what I did. But for games, I'm keeping it.
I have one of those for my Switch, actually. One of those upscalers. Yeah. I got one for the Switch. It's pretty cool, actually.
The analog ones are crazier than the digital ones. I'll tell you that. Like if you get into like the OSSC or the RetroTink 5X, they're just phenomenal devices.
Nice.
But that's basically what I've been playing with. A little less on games, more on the hardware. Rewired the entertainment center. I think I counted 21 consoles plugged in right now in the entertainment center. So yeah, that's a
Maniacs,
lot of
whoever's watching, that gets a.
That's a lot of wiring, a lot of switching equipment, but most of it's automated now where you just turn a console on and it auto detects what input it should be, so it's really nice. But in terms of actual gaming on that setup, Sega Saturn, because I didn't have one as a kid, so I bought one like, about a month or two ago.
Such an underrated system. Sega
Yes.
really dropped the fucking ball with that thing, man.
Mine's an import, and so I mostly have import games for it. So I'm playing Street Fighter 02 is like what I'm playing the most, which
Dude,
Alpha 2 for the Americans.
Dude, the freaking
Yeah.
Street Fighter games on the Saturn are just mwah. Like still to this day, they're just
Amazing.
mwah.
So remember, we talked about this over 2 years ago on the podcast. We could bring it back up. One of the main hits, and most of us were of age when that was going on, was the extra $100. Saturn was more expensive than anything else available.
Yeah.
And it was a big hit. Like PlayStation with the Final Fantasy exclusives.
That wasn't until later though. That wasn't until about 2 or 3 years after PS1 was out though.
Yeah, but they definitely weren't going to Saturn.
Oh yeah,
Saturn
that's for
didn't
sure.
even have any announcements.
That's for sure. But the whole thing with the difference in price was the Saturn was a little bit more expandable. It had that cartridge slot on the back.
Plus, it had a slot on the back that I didn't know about until recently.
Mm-hmm. And also, it was easier to like play imported games on it, depending on what kind you got. Yep. And there was all kind of little things like that.
There's a lot of really cool stuff that the Saturn has that other consoles just don't.
But dude, $100 in what, 94? Woo!
That's true. But also, I mean, if you look at it now,
that was rough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But if you look at it now, I mean, you got the Xbox Series S.
Did you say 94?
Yeah. Is it 95?
Am I way off?
No, I don't have memories of 94.
No, it's pretty accurate. Because 94, I think, was the PlayStation release. 94, 95, somewhere 95, around there.
Yeah. Because I bought the PlayStation 1 with my graduation money from high school in 1995.
Look at that. Without even looking, November 22nd, 1994. Yo.
In Japan.
Oh, actually,
right?
Yeah, Japan. May 11th, 95, North America.
Yep. That's when I got it. That's
close enough. I mean, just because you're young.
Born on a zero, it's easy to count.
Nice. But yeah,
but it's been a lot of fun playing old consoles. Like I could have an entire episode just on old consoles and all the crap I'm doing with hardware hacking. Because like I have the brook adapters to use modern controllers, modern fight sticks, all that stuff works on them flawlessly. And it's just been a real nice treat using like current gen controllers on these old games on the old hardware, and playing them on the nice big screen with like a good upscaler, and they just look beautiful and run great. And it's been a real nice, good hybrid experience.
VINCERANTS, do you have a Neo Geo?
That is expensive as hell.
I know they were expensive back then. Are they?
They were expensive, yeah. Back in the day, they were like a G.
Yeah.
The games for it right now go over $10,000 for some of them.
Jesus Christ, they were like $700 in the 90s. Yeah, they were $700 brand
Neo
new.
Geo is the most expensive console right now to collect. So no, I don't have one.
And it was back then too.
Yes.
So Sagebro, to bring you up to date, this sounds chaotic, but if you think about it from a professional sense of the mid 90s, the way arcades had to function was when a new game came out, you bought an entire new game board. And a new game board being installed into a cabinet was pretty expensive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a Neo Geo, if you had a Neo Geo system, not only could you have it plugged into 4 games at a time, but when you got a new game, you just had to buy a new cartridge, and it would play on the Neo Geo system.
And the
arcade.
And the other crazy thing is you could buy the games at the arcade. You could pay the attendant. They'd pop open the side of, because some of those cases came with extra boards in them. So they would literally take an extra board out and sell it to you, and that's the board you take home and put in your Neo Geo, and that was your game.
Yeah. The Neo Geo home console and the arcade was the exact same hardware.
It was the same thing.
Just a different form factor. Literally the arcade experience at home, and that's why it was so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when that dropped, it was incredible. Like Samurai Showdown was so gnarly when it came out, because this isn't 3D. You had character sprites zooming in and out.
Yep.
Because there were, don't quote me on this, but there
sprite
was something
scaling
like,
hardware.
Yeah, but there were, I think, 4 different versions of every character in the game. There was the close-up, middle, and the sprites. They would have, every time you jumped, it would have like an animation, like a morph in between.
Mm-hmm.
But there were, for every character and every move, there are 4 versions of each one.
Shout out to the 3DO version of Samurai Showdown. That was an excellent version too.
Yeah, which is why if you play that on Genesis and
Ooh, look
Super
at that
NES,
prize.
yikes.
Is that unopened? No, it's just very good.
The
Yikes.
$50,000 for
Hey, Keith
one
the
game.
Boogie, price check on a Panasonic 3DO, please.
Oh, 3DOs are cheap. I got one.
I need to get one. I miss my
They're
3DO.
like $150, $200.
And I need to get a Dreamcast, a Japanese Dreamcast too.
Yeah, see, $150, $200, somewhere in that range.
Ooh,
depending
169. That's the one I
Yeah.
want. Not
Nice.
that old school one.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
one that I have there is the FC1, the original.
Yep, got to get that one.
And
Alright.
I have it. The first game I played on it was the Sailor Moon fighting game.
Nice.
I was there, and you did that at a bonus round.
Yep, I did bring it there for the bonus round.
Nice,
Bonus
the
round,
3DO.
baby. And bonus rounds had this last in person for the year until Omarion stops dancing all over our lungs. And everything apparently went well. As usual, there were hiccups, but our beautiful TO, Goon PNW, knows how to carry it. And he's getting nothing but rave reviews, and they're going into beautiful, beautiful places.
Nice.
Obviously, you got Craving Amazing, you got Bobby Stills, and you got the freaking producer taking a double deucer, all assisting and making sure everything goes in line. Otherwise, I think Goon's brain would explode if he didn't have the support team and the
Totally.
wonderful volunteers here. I try to jump in when I can, but I work weekends, so I helped at the last one, not this most recent one. And hopefully my schedule evens out and I can help at more. So
Nice.
keep an eye out for that. Follow them at Bonus Round FGC. And they are on, I think Bonus Round GG is on Instagram, but Bonus Round FGC on Twitter. They do fantastic events. I believe they are going to be able to do official events for games like Tekken, Guilty Gear Strive, and hopefully Tool Ball #1. That'll be great. So, moving on. Before I get into the topics, I'll make sure everybody listening is drinking, having a blast. Like and subscribe. We probably post on, well, we used to post on Instagram the most, but now we're getting off of the Zucks nuts a little bit and try to post
Good
on
plan.
Twitter. Yeah, trying to get on that Twitter. And, our YouTube is going to have the episodes post-screaming, but we're going to do all these live streams on Twitch and lean on that the most. So like, subscribe, share, follow. And, who knows? Maybe we'll get merch at some point. And we'll
And
send-
hop on Twitch to live chat with us while we're doing that. That's where I'm usually at, is just chatting without actually being live on the stream. Like, anyone can hop on there. We're reading it. We're interacting with it.
We're interacting with Hot Riku Girl. Hey,
Yep.
Hey,
Scotty.
friend.
So, moving on to the first subject. And we are going to start with the save rings with Battlefield 2042. Wait, we didn't talk about free-to-play last week? Go ahead.
We may have touched on it, but things have kind of exploded since then. There's been more rumors and more likely sources saying that, kind of confirming that internally they're not very happy with it. Obviously, it's a terrible game, you guys. It's just bad. They're looking at all possible options, including breaking out parts of the game into free-to-play parts. I mean, we're not really going to dwell on this because, it's literally beating a dead horse at this point. This game is pretty much over and done with. They could turn it around, but it won't be anywhere near what they wanted it to be. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video earlier where they were showing the player count on there. There's more people playing Battlefield 5, which came out 2 years ago. There's more people playing Battlefield 1, which didn't really sell all that great. There's more people playing a bunch of stuff. There's more people playing Payday 2 on Steam than are playing
Well,
the new
Payday
Battlefield game.
was a great comp. Is that the same engine?
Is this?
Yeah.
No, Payday is it's
Completely
older. Yeah. But
I
Payday's
thought that was
like
still EA.
no, it's I'm not sure who makes Payday, but no, it's definitely not EA.
London.
I mean, there's only like 3 companies now, right?
Yeah, basically. Oh yeah, did we
Disney?
ever get
On that wheel.
did we ever get a chance to upload that picture? That'd be pretty cool to throw that up
Oh.
here in the conversation earlier.
Yeah, we got Roycon, Waystar, Disney, and
Yeah.
And-
Disney doesn't care about video games because
and
that's what's
Warner.
as obvious.
If you're
But-
able to download it and share it to London, I think it should be okay that way.
Okay. Well, let me see. But yeah, it's just kind of a big mess over there. There was some other stuff with it, but
Basically, they need to pull a Final Fantasy 14.
yeah, they need to pull it back into a Realm Reborn with that joint and
Yeah.
start all over.
Yo,
Yep.
MMORPG shooters? You mean like a Destiny, but no fantasy element?
Ooh, we'll get to Destiny. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get to
will.
Destiny. No, but just kind of pull it back and just be like, hey, we botched this. Let's just do it over from the ground up. Let's be forward facing with our customers. Let's offer this some value. Let's take the experience of this and not forget about it. We'll actually roll it into the new game so we can acknowledge that and move forward from that. It's kind of like that, but it's EA and it's DICE, so that ain't never gonna happen. This is gonna be this is gonna be a flaming hot train wreck off a bridge in slow motion into a river of gasoline. It's just not gonna end well for them.
So like that one scene from the Back to the Future movie.
Yes, all except Marty doesn't make it off those tracks. Yeah, basically, or Marty's still in the DeLorean at the end. Yeah. But basically, it's just a bad scene, and we can just move on. That's just your weekly update of just kicking Battlefield 2042 down, because I may or may not be a little bit bitter because I am a Battlefield fan, and the last couple ones have all been downhill, and this one just straight. Anyway, this next story is something that just popped up today on a channel that I follow. Credit to Fan the Deck. This is a brand new channel that popped up since the announcement of the Steam Deck, and this guy's been covering it, and he does a pretty good job with his coverage.
Ooh, much follow. Is this just a website, Instagram, Twitter?
He's got all the usual social media stuff, but this is particularly from his YouTube channel. This is where I first found it.
Nice, and it's Fan the Deck.
Yes, and
Tight.
he put up a really interesting video today talking about how first he did a retrospective on the fighting game community, and he spoke about this monitor. Do you have the link for that monitor there, London? It's the ViewSonic, I believe. No, it's an Asus. But this monitor became the Evo
Asus
monitor.
20. I was very, very well aware.
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of video games at that time, but continue. Let me
Loud
know when
Brown
to chime in.
Loud Brown could definitely tell you a little bit about this monitor. I had heard of it, but I wasn't sure of the exact model and stuff. But you have some personal experience though with the Loud Brown, don't you? So was that the what's going on here? Was that the
So what happens is, it turns out me and a friend of the podcast, he goes by Momar, and a couple other people, we all got into video games hardcore in 2009. I moved to Seattle in 2008. A lot of people attribute this to the Evo moment from 2007. There it is, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, that Asus. And so
Is that one of those?
people attribute it to the Evo moment with Daigo, and yes, that video went viral, but it wasn't so much that. It was one, Capcom tried really hard after their failure. We brought this up many times on the podcast. They failed at, I believe it was a Biohazard shooter. Oh, Biohazard Online.
Mm-hmm.
Automodelista, and the Clover Game Studio. They did all of those in the mid 2000s, and all didn't make money. They lost. They kept throwing bricks. That's a sports reference. Huh?
Sports ball. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And they were just down on money, so they pulled money from their fighting game industry and would do these repackaged, console only, which was not the way Street Fighter has ever done it. Like, console only releases was so bizarre. And they did rehashes of Capcom vs. SNK. They did Capcom Fighting Jam. I believe they did American ports of one-off fighting games, but there was just no energy or love in it at all. And then out of nowhere, they announced Street Fighter 4. And it was their first 3D Street Fighter. Street Fighter 3 came out at a time when Virtual Fighter and Tekken were already around. And people thought 3D was the future, and Capcom and SNK were the holdouts. And they said, nah, brah, we are doing 2D.
And I'm glad they did, because Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is the jam.
It's beautiful, but it fizzled out. It fizzled out around, 02, 03. And online gaming got huge. Halo came in and took everybody's time. Smash Brothers made way more casual gamer. A lot of things happened in the mid 2000s that made Capcom less relevant. So 2008 came out, and instead of dropping a console game, they made it arcade exclusive. You had to play Street Fighter in the arcades. And then when it finally got into the tournament circuits, we were just getting to the point where monitors were getting somewhat affordable. Before then, even if you look at Evo Moment from 2007, it's all CRTs.
Yeah.
And Smash and all of them, we were all playing on CRTs. And the entrance for Evo, the biggest fighting game tournament, tripled within a year.
Yeah, there was
everybody wanted to
play. He showed that in the video. There was 700 people total one year, and the very next year there was 1,700 just for Street Fighter.
Just for Street Fighter, and they had to come up with a solution. They found this monitor that, if you understand display lag, 2 milliseconds is fantastic for playing video games because that will not disrupt playing a lot. This doesn't really affect shooters. I'm not really sure why, but people have been playing on monitors with shooters, and there's been less of a talk of input lag than it is on fighters.
Yeah, on the first LCDs and stuff, it was more the talk of ghosting and stuff than input lag. That I remember when those first came out, those little 4x3 Dell LCDs that people had at first. You see in offices and whatnot.
Yeah, and then
I can explain part of that.
What's up?
It's because we all had such shitty PCs we couldn't even get 60 frames a second.
Yeah, and a lot of those newer 3D games, because like they were just starting to cut their teeth on 3D. Like I think like Nvidia had like the MX 400 cards, and ATI was still a thing. So
So if you look at like UT 2K4 or something like that, most people weren't playing 60 FPS back then. We couldn't do it with our rigs.
Yeah.
Versus a console, consoles are one set of hardware. They can optimize, especially the sprite hardware. It's like, this will run 60 always, no matter what.
Yeah.
And so it made more of a difference at that point.
Yeah, besides stuff like Quake and like Quake Arena and stuff like that, you weren't really seeing 60 until Half-Life 2 came out, and that forced everybody to get beefier cards, and then you started seeing more 60 FPS on PC.
Yeah. It really wasn't until the more recent era of competitive shooting that we really got into high refresh rate monitors and things like that. Because even back then, we were still using CRTs as well for PCs. Like LCDs just sucked, and everybody knew that. So people stuck with their CRTs, and good CRTs can go higher than 60 hertz.
Yep.
So like the people with cash,
and they're fully scalable too.
Yeah.
And that would have been fine if there were less than 1,000 people at Evo. But like the video linked, we'll throw that on our Twitter. Like the video linked, it just wasn't doable for such a small space. Evo was less than, it was still less than, I think, 3,000 people, which is not what it is now. That Evo's chaos.
Yeah.
Me, Sage Bell, and Von Shady were able to swing by. We were able to swing by in 2019, and there's just thousands and thousands of people. It was so crazy.
Nice.
It was as big as. It was so fun. I had zero alcohol, but
I had the alcohol.
But we say all this because
we got the Steam Deck and talking about it as being plausible. So I saw the video, and I will bring it up to this point. There were already people with tablet and PC setups to practice. Okay. So when people were waiting, they would pop open a laptop and they would have their stick. But the setup that I saw with the Steam Deck and the tiny hitbox, that is definitely the most compact setup I've ever seen.
Yeah, so basically the gist of the video was how this one monitor that we were just talking about kind of revolutionized the fighting game community as far as like holding and hosting tournaments and having standardized equipment you could practice with at home, and come to the tournament you're used to playing on that monitor with that input lag. Well, they're saying with the Steam Deck, it's something that's smaller, something that can play all the games at 60. And the current tournament that's going on that has 10, 15 games, only one of them was Virtual Fighter 5. Only one of them isn't available on PC. All the rest are on PC or are playable on PC.
However.
Yeah, what's up? What was it?
Oh, no. However, they're all available on PC, but the default is PlayStation.
Yes.
And I know, at least with Street Fighter, that was part of the deal.
But the thing that they're running into with these is they want to move on to the next generation. They want to play these games on the PS5 or whatever the newer hardware is. But the controllers are legacy. A lot of them only work on a PS5, on a PS4. A lot of them aren't compatible with the PS5. They're kind of
Oh,
waiting
the
for.
controllers?
Yeah. Like a lot of things aren't compatible with newer systems first starting out. But if you had something that you knew was always going to be compatible with everything, always moving forward, if you had something that is scalable moving forward, like a Steam Deck 2 or a standardized PC that they come up with, or whatever it ends up being 5-6 years from now, you can still use all those peripherals. Everything's still the same, and stuff like that. So he had a lot of compelling reasons, and it wasn't just him speculating either. There was hang on, let me find the name here. There was Mark Julio. Is that a name that's familiar to you, Don Brown? AKA Mark Man. He designs fighting game controllers and stuff like that.
Yeah, Mark Man's that dude.
Mm-hmm. He tweeted that he's about to receive a early edition of a Steam Deck, and he's going to be testing it thoroughly for compatibility, for performance, and for things of this nature, things that would be important in a competitive nature. Something that you needed standardized. And also one of the developers, that video that you spoke about earlier with the guy playing on a little mini hitbox on Steam Deck, that's one of the Steam Deck's developers. And he was crucial in designing the D-pad because he's heavy into fighting games, and he wanted to make sure it had a D-pad that would be pretty good for fighting games. And also he wanted to make sure that the compatibility layer on SteamOS was ready to accept or work out of the box by default with any manner of controller that you wanted to use on it. So that's kind of important. One of the main designers of the Steam Deck kind of made the Steam Deck in some ways with fighting games in mind, or at least be able to work well with them. So that was another reason, and then 2 other things that he quoted in this little story that he had. So I just thought that was interesting. Do you see the potential in this? Potentially, we still got to get our hands on it and see what it can actually do. But if it turns out to be workable, do you see this as something that you might see an Evo in the future?
Yeah, but not as. We'll see, because this early on, it's just going to be hard to get a freaking hold of this.
Mm-hmm.
I see sooner than anything, unless Valve goes real hard and does what PlayStation did, I see more likely than anything them switching to PC in general, because you can get a pretty small PC, and I've seen them, especially at the anime fighters. You talk to Goon, a lot of these games, like stuff like Melty Blood and stuff, the old ones that just aren't available, and they're all mostly played on emulators. They just have those, those like little dev kit PCs that are like this big.
I'll actually link one. Yeah, I saw a video for a brand new one, and it's small. It's like a book,
but they're not going to play on that screen, not competitively. It's meant for a single person.
Doesn't the Steam Deck have video output though for a big monitor?
It definitely
the Steam Deck would just be the PC at that point.
Oh, I hear you, but much less affordable than just buying a bunch of like little PCs.
No, not right now. PCs are pretty expensive.
The cheapest end Steam Deck is a lot more affordable because it's one standardized piece of hardware, and what Saverings was just saying, controller compatibility is huge, and the fact that we know that there's going to be a really damn good controller compatibility on this thing, and Steam cares about controller compatibility. Like even on their desktop client, you can plug in like a Switch Pro controller and run it in Xbox emulation mode, and they do all the translation for you. And so that's what
I use too.
They do a lot of great work in that area, and the fact that they now have full control of the entire operating system means you won't have any of the Windows driver bullshit that you have. It's just going to be like...
That's what you mean. Okay, because I have to deal with the drivers not that often, but every now and then. Mm-hmm. But I also made it a point to buy a stick that had a universal...
That's been a problem at tournaments, like at the PAX tournament and things like that. Sticks not working on Windows because the drivers are just being stupid. And so Steam has a good chance of just saying, screw all that, it doesn't matter anymore. We use our own drivers, our own operating system. It's all under like our control, our house, and we have developers that care about this specific community for gaming.
Then I think it's just going to be a matter of inventory.
Yeah.
Can they get enough for the big tournaments?
Yeah. Will Steam sponsor them?
Yeah,
that'd be pretty big.
That's the big question.
That in and of itself would be huge. To see Valve sponsoring a fighting game tournament like that'd be kind of crazy.
Well, like Sage, we've both been to BlizzCon, right? And we've seen like how many rows upon rows upon rows of computers I got at BlizzCon. Those are all sponsored PCs, exactly the same PC on every single setup. Mm-hmm. Thousands of them, right? So like it's not unheard of for a company to just come in and be like, "Hey, here's a crap ton of hardware," and then just go sell it off afterwards as used hardware.
Probably for I could see that for the majors, maybe, especially.
I can see that
especially
for
not
bonus
maybe-
round.
Yeah. Well, if bonus round can get it, yeah. I mean, we're local,
Yeah, we're local. Yeah.
Valve, but
Hit us up.
you know,
Yep.
I
want
could
free
see
Steam
that.
Deck.
I could see that 100% for out of pools. You know, the top 64. Like I said, you know, Sage and I, we went to Evo, and there were so many setups. It's daunting. Is that the same amount at SteamCon?
SteamCon, you mean
BlizzCon.
BlizzCon?
BlizzCon, yeah.
Hell no. So okay,
Oh.
so since I've been to both in the same year,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I went to one with one with the other. Let's just say Evo is one room, and BlizzCon is at least 4 rooms.
Oh wow.
So like
Yeah.
the amount you saw at Evo, because there was a lot, but there was at least quadruple.
Yeah, if Valve can support that many,
I mean, they
Sure.
do run the international, which is one of the largest tournaments
Yep.
in the world for
yeah, but
esports.
they only need 10.
No, they have teams of 5 all on these machines. Well, like lately they've been doing it remotely because of that. So they
Yeah.
have
But at
teams
the
of 5 in
international,
different rooms all over the place.
I don't know what they. Yeah, they probably have warm-up rooms and stuff like that. But the spectators see 10 setups.
There haven't been any spectators though lately.
Yeah.
So, but they do have experience with it, and if
Well-
they need to scale up, they'll be the first to know that they need to scale up.
Well,
so.
I'm all for it, especially if they can get behind it. You know, the sad thing is fighting games don't make the money that MOBAs make, and maybe if they invest in it, we will
Maybe.
see.
Yeah.
Now that they saw, I mean, Evo 2019 was great. It looks like some fighters are getting some steam going with their online tournaments and stuff, and I'm all for it. I'm basically left Team Sony at this point. I'm just playing on my PC, so
Well,
I'm all for it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
play any fighters on my PlayStation at all.
and to kind of get back to where you're saying, like, it's not a big, you're not going to make a ton of money doing it, but on the PC side of it, there's literally no place to go but up for fighting games. So
That's true.
you might as well fill in that gap and cash in and be the one making that
Yep.
gap. So
All right. But yeah, and we'll see if that helps. Hopefully. And moving on. What the heck is a Ubisoft?
I'm so glad we got Darkane on here for this one. This was one of the VPs. Hang on, let me not mess it up. Where is it? Where is it here? I had it pulled up. I think I closed it out of disgust. Hold on. One of the VPs, Nicholas, I'm gonna slaughter his last name, Nicholas Pouard, it's French. He's on record as saying gamers don't get what they're trying to do with NFTs, and they don't.
They're right.
Yeah, gamers don't get it. But the way it comes off, it does come off. Speaking of BlizzCon, it does come off kind of. What do you mean? You guys don't have phones? Type thing.
It's condescending attitude.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, like I said, he is French.
But at the
he
same
said-
time, gamers don't understand what the actual what could be good about it. It's just we hear a lot of the negative bullshit. And
But the way he described it here, it does sound kind of bullshit. He goes, I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market could bring to them. He said, for now, because of the certain situations and contexts, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet. Second, it's just a tool for speculation. But then he says, the end game is about giving the players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished with them or they're finished with the game itself. You mean kind of like the Diablo store? I like how'd that work out? That was a total disaster. So it's just, but you're right though. It's like 90% how he said it. I mean, that's pretty much it. But this part right here wasn't very enticing. The end game is about giving you a chance to resell your items.
the thing is there's some really cool potential with NFTs, but there's also some really shitty implementations of NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep harping on the really bad implementations, and not all of them are on the destructive blockchains. Like, we'll just keep that discussion aside. Some blockchains are really, really bad, like Bitcoin is terrible for the economy and whatnot. But not all of the technology uses that system, right?
Yeah.
I think,
think
and everyone. No, the one big complaint I keep seeing is like, oh well, a developer says, we're gonna take my character and put it in another game. We're gonna take my outfit, put it in another game, and everyone keeps saying, and even developers are saying that's impossible, right?
Mhm.
And I go back to like, did you play Xbox 360? Did you have an Xbox 360 avatar? And how many games used it? Not every game did, but a ton of games used the Xbox 360 avatars. And
Yeah.
same thing with Mii's on Nintendo. Like,
Yeah.
how many DS games used Mii's? How many Wii games used Mii's? And so, like, if you think of it in that context, if a game was built around the concept of importing and exporting content, and then finding a way to monetize off that content or being able to sell it, create content, think of like creating a house in Minecraft and then selling it to somebody, right? And it may not be like, on your map, you like create the 3D geometry and everything, and then you sell, that, the creation of that to somebody else, and they can just plop it into their world or something, right?
Yeah.
Like there's potential there, but at the same time, there's a lot of BS, and I think this is just fueling the BS even worse.
I think what Ubisoft is failing to mention is this is coming from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
If all these, it's coming from EA, it's coming from these companies that are greedy and will fuck it up and will ruin your games as a result of it, and then blame you when the game fails and you say it's a shit game for whatever reasons. So I think that is right there. Ubisoft is so full of themselves, and all these other people so full of themselves, they don't realize that, hey, it's coming from us, and we're full of shit, and people know this. And
it's funny because like you bring up the Diablo thing, because Diablo did have real money trading. Like they started with that. Diablo 3 did. Like all they have to do, like any of these tech companies, if they didn't call it NFT, if they literally just called it anything else, but it was the same conceptual idea, nobody gave two shits about it.
It would still get backlash
Bitcoin.
because it's coming from these companies. But
yes, but it would
NFT
be different backlash.
it
would be justified backlash instead of bullshit backlash.
Yes, yeah.
That bottom ticker, everybody. That bottom ticker. London just gets it.
Bitcoin. Let's go.
Vincoin.
Nice.
Man, I hear it's almost at 30 cents. That's pretty great.
You know what's hilarious about that specifically? On Windows, there is a program called VNC, and I was like a partial developer of it back in like the late 90s.
Nice.
When you were 5?
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
I've been doing this crap forever.
Well, we're smashing right through here. We're already 45 minutes in. Haven't taken a break or nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break right now because we're about to get into that juicy topic.
Yeah, the big one.
The big one. So, Maniacs, remember to like and subscribe, share, tell your friends. This is Salt Tier, the Pacific Northwest's very own and best video game podcast, where your argument is.
It could be an NFT.
Your argument is an NFT.
Yeah.
We are brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA, hashtag Live Rangerously. Remember, it's B Corp certified and employee owned. I cannot think of a beverage company that has both of those.
So basically the opposite of Ubisoft.
It's the opposite of Ubisoft. Yeah,
so basically these are real fungible drinks, not non-fungible drinks.
Mm-hmm.
They're RFTs. They're riffs. So check them out. Check out their Instagram and Twitter. They're pretty active on there. And check your local store for them. And if you don't have them, hit up Drizzly. And, I am so overdue for an email to our friends over at Voodoo Ranger. But we're trying to get some discount codes for you so we could ship you stuff through Disney with, I don't know. If we do get a discount code, it kind of has to be Vincoin, doesn't it?
or just salt.
Salt. All right. Yeah,
I'm
maybe
pretty
enter those
salty.
letters now. I wonder if it'll help. Come on,
Yeah.
Drizzly. Where you at?
I'm pretty salty.
Yeah.
That is all. We are moving on to the juicy topic. This is the very end of the first month of 2022, and massive things have already happened. Last week we talked about Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard and
Activision Blizzard King.
King. Thank you.
Gotta get that king in there.
And what just happened, my dude?
This happened just today. A lot of us woke up to this. Sony
announced
Corp.
at 10 a.m. on the dot.
Yeah, with literally a lot of us were just waking up to this. Sony Corp, specifically Sony Computer Entertainment or whatever they're called now, bought Bungie for $3.6 million. Serial dater Bungie. Let's not forget billion.
Right.
I think Microsoft originally paid like what, 800 million for them, 600 million for them back in like 1999, something like that. So Microsoft bought them, owned them until 2007, and then they kind of went their own way. No hard feelings. Activision was their publisher. Was starting in like 2011. They announced that. In 2013, 2014 is when we saw the first fruits of that, which was the first Destiny game. They got out of that deal. It was a 10-year publishing deal. They got out of that deal 2 years early in 2019. And here we are, lo and behold, January 31st in the year of our Lord Savior Gaben, 2022. And Sony is buying them straight up. I don't know what the deal is. They didn't specify if it was a cash deal, if it was anything like that. I have heard rumors for about the last month, but nothing's been satisfied. Sony Computer Entertainment has about $20 billion in a war chest that they can go out and spend for acquisitions and things of this nature. I have heard a little bit higher, but 20 seems to be about the consensus that all the rumor mongers are saying. So if that's the case, they spent a good $4 billion of it right here. A lot of people are asking.
They spent 1.8 Minecrafts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Are we going by the Minecraft scale?
How many? Minecraft was $2 billion. That's my bar for what it cost to buy a game.
Okay.
$2 billion.
$2 billion.
And so they spent 1.8 Minecrafts.
I gotta say, Minecraft is sounding like a fucking steal right now.
Right now, yes. I've been thinking about that. Everybody thought it was a crazy expensive deal when Microsoft did that years ago.
You realize they've made their money back on that like doubled by this point. And like Minecraft is still selling
in
like
one
stupid.
year. In like 1 year, they did that.
Yeah, they made their money back like crazy on that game.
Do you need to have a subscription to play online with Minecraft?
A Windows Store version, yes.
To have a realm that's multiplayer that all your friends can just jump in and out of, yeah, it costs money. It's like hosting.
But you can still play old school Java Minecraft and host it yourself.
Yes. Okay. But you might need a coding degree to get that server up and running. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, technically, I have a degree in it.
Okay, well, hey, if you get one up and running, let me know, because I want to play some Minecraft online too.
Are we gonna have like the salty Minecraft server now?
We should, because I miss playing. I miss playing survival co-op Minecraft. I played it a lot back in like the early 2010s and stuff. I was playing. I
officially bow out of that.
No way, dude. No, if you play survival with the rest of us, shit is fun.
You have to join us.
Yeah.
Join us, Michael.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Salt mines.
Yeah. Co-op survival Minecraft is fun as fuck, actually.
See a hot Rico girl there in chat calling it the salt mines? That should be the name of the server.
There you go.
That is a perfect name.
There we go.
And that's why.
Yeah, this Bingo deal. I mean, Bungie. It's Bungie, right? Not Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
The other Red versus Blue is always going to be a thing for me.
Yeah. Rip Machinima. The other interesting thing about this, Red versus Blue?
No.
What was it? It was just itself.
It
was Rooster Teeth. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah. Are they though?
Yeah, but yeah, Rip Machinima. Anyway, I miss them.
Yeah.
They did some good stuff, like the Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
So there was a bunch of stuff. Do you know gaming? That was on Machinima. I used to love that series. But the other crazy thing, Inside Gaming was also on there. The other crazy part of this is Bungie will remain mostly independent. They will be free to publish their own games. Yeah.
We all know what that means. That means you're independent until the acquisition is completed in a year, and then
I've altered the deal. Pray I've altered it no further.
Anybody who's been in tech or gaming or anything, like they always say that. And then the day the deal closes, it changes.
But if anyone can wiggle out of it, it is Bungie. They've done it twice. So if anyone can wiggle out of this deal in a couple of years, it is Bungie, because they've literally done it twice. They did it with Microsoft and Activision. They got away from both of them. So Sony's like small potatoes to get away from compared to those two. Actually, no, maybe not Microsoft. Microsoft sometimes will just cut you loose because they're like, "Oh, we're bored. Go ahead." But
Microsoft kept the goods anyway when they did that.
Yeah, they just kept the IP, and their thing's printing money to this day.
Yep.
But that's also a big thing, that they will remain independent. They will have the option to publish their own games, and they do have their own IP, which they've been working on for at least about the last 2 years or so. So maybe that's what. Yes. So maybe that's what Sony got to take a little peek at and be like, "Oh yeah, we want that." Also, the other thing is, don't forget, Sony is a multi-level, multinational company with a lot of divisions. They own Funimation, they own Sony Motion Pictures, and they own Sony Television. And I say this because as part of the press announcement, they said moving forward into this multimedia world. So everybody's thinking like, okay, Destiny anime, Destiny movie, Destiny TV show. I mean, they're joining Sony. So they get first shot at all this.
Arcane really showed people what can actually be accomplished.
Yeah.
So many people got into the lore of League because of that.
Yeah. And actually, it wasn't quite as good, but it was still entertaining. A good valiant shot at it would be the Dota anime as well. The Castlevania anime is pretty excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some precedent for doing
and obviously,
a good video game.
Obviously, the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie. That just knocked it
Well,
out. of the park.
just speaking of Street Fighter, how many anime for Street Fighter are there? And those are actually really, really top notch.
Yeah,
are.
there was the original movie, which was 94.
Street Fighter
and then there was
V, the series.
Alpha.
Street Fighter V
Oh.
series, yeah.
The Van Damme one, it's one of those ones. It's so bad it goes around the clock, and it's so bad it's good again.
It is so
goes-
bad it's good.
it's
If
so
you
bad it's
watch that
good.
movie as a comedy, it's brilliant.
Dude,
Even-
speaking of which,
What's up?
Street Fighter, the movie, the game, is better and worse than I remember it. Like, playing it is not bad, but they set the CPU to cheating so hard that it's almost impossible to play.
And if you're gonna play it, you got to go the full experience and play it on the Sega Saturn. That's how.
That's what I'm playing it on. That's the version I have. Yep.
That's where you play that game, like a defunct
Yep.
game on a defunct system. That's what. You
Yep.
do. But yeah, kind of a big deal. This is
But-
huge. We won't see any
but-
fruits of this for the next few years.
Yeah, so after this, who else is Sony going to buy?
I had one off the top of my head that nobody's thinking about.
Acclaim.
Go for-
Ooh, well, what's Acclaim now? They're like Silver Dollar and THQ Nordic. It's pretty much Acclaim now. My thing is they should buy Robert Space Industries and force them to finish Star Citizen, and put it on consoles too. Because if you did that, you'd be.
I didn't
a hero.
catch that reference. Can you explain that to anybody that's under 40?
Star Citizen is the biggest crowdfunding game / the biggest vaporware. Although
What's up?
technically you can't play it. It's by the creator of the Wing Commander series and Freelancer. Robert.
That's right.
Yeah, we've talked about it over the years on this show. It just last year broke like $450 million in crowdfunding. Yeah, if you want to buy something, somebody buy that and force them to finish it, and then put it on consoles. You will be a hero forever. Even if it sucks, you'll still be a hero that you made them release that game. So to me, if I was Sony, that's who I would buy. I throw a bunch of money at Chris Roberts because he likes money, and then go ahead and finish it and put it on
I
consoles.
just dropped it into the chat.
Yeah, and maybe
Yo.
put the alpha on PlayStation, just to do that, and then when it comes out on consoles, it releases for everything, but the alpha's on PlayStation. Like there you go. There, I fixed it.
Cool.
So if you were Sony, who would you buy?
Oh, we're going to do that?
You're
Oh,
probably
if I
gonna
was
say
Sony.
Capcom, huh?
No, don't touch
No?
my Capcom.
Yeah.
Hey, Sony. Yeah, Sony, I don't know. Bye. I got nothing. That last acquisition is so much. I can't even think. Did anybody like? Yeah, I got nothing.
Also, something I left off before is Bungie is gonna always be pressing Sony to make sure that their games are crossplay, and Sony's gonna be listening to Bungie because part of the reason
There
why
you
they
go.
bought them, part of the
Sony
reason why
should
they
buy-
bought them,
Sony
up?
should buy OnlyFans.
They
That is
totally
correct.
should.
That is the only correct answer.
and,
London.
and make the native app only on PlayStation. There you go. Since more people watch porn on PlayStations than they do on a PC. Like it's like the number one thing that people watch. Yeah, there's a ton of people watch.
Not
on
mobile?
PlayStation. There's a pretty good chunk. Like
It
It come- it-
overpowers mobile?
there's a lot of people that watch it on consoles. It's kind of crazy.
Crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a big
Get your
number.
phone in bed. What?
Yeah.
I only watch porn on my iPad Shuffle.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Just
I watch it on my Texas Instrument scientific calculator.
Oh man.
Uh,
Okay.
but yeah.
Vince, you think they're gonna buy anybody?
Yeah.
I think this is gonna settle for a while. That was a lot of money.
They still got about
No,
$15 million. to
No,
throw
say
around.
like again, it's only like what I say. Well, 1.8 Minecrafts, it's not that much. When you
Compared
look
to-
at the ABK deal, that was what, like 30 something Minecrafts.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if they bought? Who's making Marvel games?
Crystal
Crystal
a lot of
Dynamics?
people. Yeah.
What if they bought Crystal Dynamics
They
and
could.
that was their way of?
And they could get
keeping-
Crystal Dynamics
You know what I mean?
for
They
cheap
keep a-
now.
Yeah,
Because the
they
last
got
game
their
was the Avengers.
yeah they got their thumb on Disney's neck because Disney doesn't want to do it independently. Can
Yeah.
you imagine if
Disney
Sony
hates video
owns?
games.
That's what I'm saying is imagine if Sony owned Crystal Dynamics, they start making all the Spider-Man games
Oh, I see
and
what you-
all,
yeah.
and then the next Avengers game, and
'Cause
they're like, "Hey,
Because
we
they're
already
making a Wolverine
they're
game
already-
too.
yeah," and they're already in the bed with the Spider-Man movies.
That is true.
It'll
Yeah.
solidify that, and then
And the Avengers
super-
game lost $60 million, so maybe Square Enix would want to part with them.
and then a super merger. Sony Disney in 10 years.
You know who we're not talking about though?
Who's that?
The Embracer Group. It's somebody an organization I've never heard of until today because of everything going on.
Yes, they are a private equity firm, and they've been buying up everything that the other actual video game companies have not been buying. And a lot of that stuff is like the supportware. You know, like when you first turn your game on, you see like Havoc Engine and so tools and blah blah blah. They own most of that stuff. Bink Video.
Yeah, but just looking at the list here, like Gearbox, like that's not exactly small.
No.
Wait,
That's
who's
who-
Gearbox?
Embracer Group.
Oh.
Yeah, they're the ones that
they-
Randy sold out to, and now he's pumping games out so he can collect that fat bonus.
And a movie.
Yeah, that's why Tiny Tina is a spun-off game and not a DLC for Borderlands 3.
I mean, it is also a DLC.
The Tiny Tina one, the new one?
Oh, well, no, but there
Yeah.
is a Tiny Tina DLC for 2.
Yep. But the new one should also be a DLC for this one, but because he has to release X amount of games, he released that separately because that counts as one of the X amount of games, so he can get his bonus.
You know the save rings. We haven't even mentioned your favorite company today either.
Who's that?
Tencent.
Hey,
How many companies are Tencent having their little grubby fingers into with all of this?
And the crazy thing about Tencent is video games is small potatoes compared to like the rest of their umbrella. They're the number one video game publishing in the world, but they also control NFL and NBA over there. They control
I
all
wonder
the
if that
streaming platforms
Microsoft
over there.
buyout. I wonder if they bought Tencent out of it.
For Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard.
King.
Maybe.
Sorry. Activision Blizzard
Yeah,
King.
Activision-
I wonder if they bought them out of
That's
it.
a good question.
That's
I thought
not a
about
word I
that.
heard.
I thought about that for a split second and I hadn't thought about it since maybe.
Because I don't know if Microsoft would get in the bed with them.
Yeah, because that would mean Tencent would own some section of Microsoft. 'Cause they own
Yeah.
a section of Activision Blizzard.
Slither their code right in there.
Yeah, you're right. And Microsoft's been busy
Ooh.
busting Chinese like sketchy websites.
Yeah,
and stuff.
because Activision Blizzard King did not make OSs, and Microsoft does.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I haven't seen that addressed anywhere.
Yeah,
we'll-
so like
We'll find out over the course of the deal.
We will.
closing.
And I'm going to go through my little round robin real quick. We did not get a cancel from our the super producer, so I'm going to go run through these real quick. London, if you could hit that next link on line number 9 about Overwatch being saved. So, one of our favorite YouTube creators, Your Overwatch, has spoken on this. He had COVID the last couple of days, so he hasn't made a video.
I heard
But
that's
he
going
talked
around.
about the implications about a lot more fans being excited about not having, Kotick involved.
Yep.
How Microsoft can help this reach a even broader audience
Mhm.
than
Dude,
Activision Blizzard
put-
King ever could.
Put this on Game Pass, dude. Like you get
Exactly.
all
He's
kinds of
talking about how the
people.
Game Pass community will make this game flourish.
Mhm.
And there was a rumor at the end of this video that Bobby was meddling with the Overwatch 2 launch and wanting it to be 5v5 because of the success of Call of Duty Mobile and making Overwatch 2 possible for crossplay on mobile. And no one can really say that that's an impossible theory.
That is going to end up happening. There will be crossplay with a mobile version of it, and the mobile version will be the client. Especially now that Microsoft's bought it, you'll just stream it to your phone or whatever they're going to do. with
But
it.
I wonder if they'll bring it back to 6v6 now. That's the community's question.
I think Microsoft is going to let them do whatever the hell they want to over there, and that's kind of the point of it.
And
Yeah.
also, and Darkane knows this,
I have
they
that.
have already-
I got that for Christmas. The
Hey.
Manscaped.
they have already announced that the Overwatch League will be starting the next season on Overwatch 2. Like that is
Yep.
Because don't
said
forget,
and put in stone.
because
so
don't forget, it's part of the deal. Microsoft now owns MLG, so yeah.
But remember, it doesn't close for 12 to 18 months though. So
yes.
so the next season of Overwatch is going to be
The last season of Activision Blizzard King.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it
Um,
will be that 5v5. Ew.
They need to bring back Heroes of the Storm too, man.
Yeah.
Hot.
One other quick thing about Overwatch, just to remind everyone, happy Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
They got the event going on. The skins and content kind of suck this time, but at least
Two whole
they're still doing
legendary.
events.
Even though the game is banned over there, like that's entirely why they put
Well, no,
it in
because
there.
that's just China. Remember, Lunar New Year is more than just China.
I know.
That's
but
why I
like-
don't call it
but,
Chinese New Year, because
Yeah.
other places do celebrate it too.
True. But a lot of that stuff, yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
I just want to throw a good shout out to that because I mean that event is going on. I'm kind of playing it, but it kind of I don't give a damn.
May still
It,
babe.
it,
Love her.
she is.
Yeah, she is. So moving on, quick topics. Are one of the most beautiful people that makes video game content out there, Core A Gaming, did a whole art piece on whether video games are considered art,
Which
and
they are.
Definitely.
which they are, but he brings up the best
Boing.
arguments here because in the age of TV used to not be considered art in the old world. It was movies and plays, and that's it. And they talk
a lot of that still goes on too. Yeah, comic book movies, that can't be art.
exactly. Genre films in general, and this is why he started talking about horror films, because horror films are notorious for getting completely left in the dust when it comes to best movie, because it's genre. Action, sci-fi, adventure, horror do not get best movies of the year. Not historically. Anyway, fantastic video. He goes into a little more of, he talks about like thriller cuts. He has like a big tangent that makes a lot of sense to what is art. Obviously, he uses the Last of Us as a prime example of fantastic storytelling through video games, and whether or not interactive can be considered art if the end user has control of it. And it's like, oh, it kind of depends on how much. And there's no, check it out. Corey Gaming
It's interactive art.
Yeah, right. And
But,
that.
Beyond just the story, I just do want to say though, like today I got in the mail the album for ActRaiser on the SNES.
Nice.
I didn't know until recently that they did a symphony
album?
orchestra version of the ActRaiser soundtrack.
Is it on vinyl?
No, the one I did not get the vinyl. They did make a vinyl, but I got the CD so I could have it on my main sound system.
That's crazy.
But they did release it on vinyl. But yeah, so the fact that video game music is getting symphony orchestras, like we know about Zelda, we know about Final
Gear.
Fantasy, all the big name ones, right? But like ActRaiser wasn't that big of a game, and it's getting it too. Like this stuff is art. Like the music is art, the graphics are art. Like
yeah, they definitely throw Ebert under the bus for sure, because he said by definition it couldn't be.
He's a boomer. What's he know?
I know, but he doubles back on that and readdresses it after the backlash. It's a fantastic video to check out. We will throw it in our Twitter. And moving on to my final point, and it's such a tangent for anybody else in the chat, but whatever. I had these topics upside down. London, please. We'll move on to Forge Strike. A lot of people don't know about this game. It's freaking beautiful. It's so weird. And once again, this is talking about the mod community, and once again talking about Project M for Smash Brothers. This is basically the Project M for 2D Street Fighter fans. This is Street Fighter 3 Forge Strike. It is a mod that balances it.
What?
It gets rid of some of the infinites. It makes the top 4 characters less invincible.
You serious?
It increases the power of all of the bottom tiers. Sean is cool again.
I'm playing.
And it's more, there's more custom colors. I believe they have background music from other Street Fighter games. It's just a fun thing for everybody that misses Third Strike, and you can play it on Fightcade now. You got Justin Wong, Jam Crofts, Smug, all these people playing this version of the game, because Third Strike is hilariously, and Sage knows this about some fighting games, sometimes the tiers are so bad. Like Soul Calibur 2 was basically, are you going to choose Ivy or are you going to lose? And Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is kind of similar. It's like, okay, you got Chun-Li, Ken, and Yun. Oh, you picked somebody else. So you don't want to win.
So the big question is, what systems does this game play on?
Oh, only PC. This plays on the Fightcade app, a client. I don't know what I'm looking for, but to play against your friends, you load this up on Fightcade, and that's what all the pros have been playing on.
So it doesn't work on any of the consoles or anything?
No, it's not on consoles. It's super illegal. It's just Capcom's cool with it because they get it.
Huh? No, because like you mentioned, like Project M runs on console, and like the other mods I've been playing all run on native console. So it's actually kind of surprising that this one doesn't.
Project M does not play on console. Project M has to be hacked with an SD card to play on the Wii.
But it plays on the original console. That's what I mean, though. Like, yes, you have to hack your console, but it plays on the original hardware.
Oh, yeah, then this doesn't play on... There's no way to load this on... Not that I'm aware of. Everybody plays on PC.
Looks pretty cool. I'm definitely checking this out.
It's freaking cool.
I'll play it on my Steam Deck and let you know how it works there.
It'll be super dope. And who knows?
Are you in the first batch for the Steam Deck?
Yes, I am.
I think I'm in the second batch, which sucks.
And then that'll be my closing statement, I guess, is I am. Oh, thank you, London with a Y, because we are just a little over time, but that's fine. We had a lot of fun tonight. We had a freaking dream. Let's minimize that. I have been Loudon Brown at Loudon Brown on Instagram and Twitter. I'm GrowStuff with a PH on Steam and PlayStation. Sometimes I'm Lucky Bandit when I hit that mic, baby. And my closing statement for the entire podcast is, oh, we're not minimizing this? Yeah, we'll keep watching it. Why not? This is a side-by-side comparison of how moves do different pushback, and that's a new super. Whatever. Thank you, Lennon.
That looks dope.
Closing statements. What fighting game would you want a balance patch for and to be released, like Forge Strike, like your favorite game that might have been unbalanced, something you miss playing? Mine is Capcom vs. SNK 2. I desperately want Capcom vs. SNK 3. I wanted to add, a couple characters or so and make my favorites not crappy and the glitches to be gone. And I will move that question. What are we doing? Yeah. And you got your Saturn. You got all sorts of fighting games that you might want to update on.
Well, besides the Saturn games, one thing I did want to mention, because we talked about this in the pre-show, was I just looked up the name of a Smash Remix. Is the original Smash Brothers. It has 24 characters instead of 12, so they doubled the roster. It has something like 40 stages or something like that now, and like an incredible number of stages. And it has all the balancing patches. They brought in characters from the newer games. They brought in music. They brought in new game modes. Like, everything that Project M is that you can think of, but done to the original Smash Brothers. So what you're asking, like, and I just discovered this week.
That's pretty awesome.
I've just started playing it, and this one does play on the N64. So I got like the Evercade, whatever they're called. I think it's like Evercade cartridge.
Yeah.
And
you got to use like a cartridge that works on modded stuff. Okay.
No, it's not a modded system at all. It's just a cartridge that'll work in any N64.
Okay.
So
and do you load the cartridge?
You load it with an SD card. So you put the ROM on the SD card. You put the card in the console. You turn it on. You play. And so I've been screwing around with this like old school Smash Brothers on the N64, but like you got dope. Dr. Mario and stuff on it, which didn't exist back then. And they brought in like Wolf and Conker's on there from Conker's Bad Fur Days. So they're just bringing in like all sorts of like random cool stuff. And that's something I like to answer your question. That is a game I would want them to do that with, and it turns out they actually did, and I just discovered it this week. So
nice.
Well,
anyway, Severance, what you got?
That's a tough one. Because I was sitting here thinking about it, like what fighting game I'd like to see them rebalance. Like everything I think of is like a troll answer. Like I keep thinking like Primal Rage or something, or like Clay Fighters or like Pit Fighter or something.
There you go. Primal Rage versus Clay Fighters. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That sounds good. Or I'd like to see like a hand drawn like Don Bluth like Space Ace versus Dragon's Lair fighting game somehow. If they could do that. But as far as like an actual fighting game, the Street Fighter one looked dope. Like that's something I always wanted. More Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is always good to me.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I'd like to see them go back, just like Vince was saying with the N64 Smash Brothers. I'd like to see them go back to the original Soul Calibur, the one that was on the Dreamcast, and add newer players to the original Soul Calibur
with the old graphics.
Yes,
go back older and do the original Soul Blade game.
You know what? I would, but those graphics were they're just a little bit too rough for me. So like Soul Calibur, the first one is right about where I want to see them take all the characters they have up to 4 and put them in the first one.
Oh, and you know what?
What's up?
I think everybody here would appreciate this. You can combine all of the guest characters for all of the old consoles.
Yep. Put all the guest characters in it, but all have it run and look like the very first Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast.
So Link and Spawn and who was the other one?
Bravo.
Wasn't
you
it
also
like Miyagi?
Yoda and Darth Vader from
360 and PS3.
And then 3 had Hayachi, right? From Tekken was in that one, right? Okay.
And what's his name with the bat? Negan? No. Yes.
Whoa,
Negan's
he was
in
in
the new
Soul
one, right?
Calibur? He's in Tekken.
Is he in Tekken? Or is that Soul
He's in
Calibur?
Tekken currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I would like is it Dante?
Is
See, now we're
Dante
getting
in Soul Calibur?
No, it's Homeboy from The Witcher.
Oh, it's Geralt of Rivera.
Geralt is in the current one.
Okay. Yeah, so that'd be my answer. I want to see the first Soul Calibur with all the newer characters smashed back into the old one.
That's fun. That's fun
Yep.
graphics. And lastly, we got Dynamic Hunter.
Oh, you chose one of the two games that I have played excessively. That's a fight game. So I guess if Soul Calibur's taken, I'm going with older original Blaze Blue.
Oh,
Blah,
okay.
blah.
I love Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue is great. I don't know if it is any I never competed in it, so I can't say if the balancing's good or bad. I just exclusively played BUNGIE because I like staff characters, and I think she was hilarious because you could turn your staff into a dummy to attack. But I think there was there's cheap characters in that because I could win with Arakune, who's the weird blobby guy who spit out bugs, and I could just destroy people with him in the first game.
Got it.
Because he was a button mash win character.
Nice.
And you got a little bit of what you wanted, but just not the entire cast with BB Tag. That game had a lot of characters, but more. Maybe a mod that you could add the whole cast.
Is that the one with the horrible graphics? Is that the battle tag game? The one I was complaining about, the one that I got, and it looked like a Super Nintendo game?
No.
Cross battle tag, whatever.
No, this one's 2D graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be.
And it's got the
I'm not
Ruby
sure.
characters in it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Ooh, make sure you tell Goon that. But
the graphics.
we are getting
horrible.
cut off, friends. Jump in the chat. Let us know what fighting games you like. Drink all of that Voodoo Ranger IPA. Big shout out to VinceRax /Darkane /2K 2022. And thanks to the super producer taking a quadruple deucer for making sure everything went out straight. We'll see you in February.
Yeah.
Remember to like, share, follow. #Live Dangerously. What the hell am I forgetting? Oh, big shout out to Flay for making the intro as usual. We will see you next month. Punch Nazis, smoke trees. Too bad.